Councilmember Elwood.
Present.
Councilmember Griggs.
Here.
Councilmember Mills.
Here.
Councilmember Pittman.
Here.
All are present.
All council members are present, so I declare a quorum. Are there any questions or additions or corrections to the agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as submitted.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. We have no minutes from any previous meeting, so we'll move on to ceremonials, recognitions, proclamations, and memoriams. I guess we could call this a recognition.
Okay.
Lawrence wants to introduce our new fire chief.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. I asked new Chief Christopher Lediker to come and join us tonight just so he can introduce himself to you. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about having him. There's a little bit about his background. He has a master's degree in public administration. He's got a bachelor's degree in first responder administration, and he's got an associate's degree in applied science. He's also a certified paramedic in the state of Arkansas. He's got chief experience and every certification known to man. He comes to us very qualified. I'll let him give some personal information about himself, but the big benefit to us is he hit the ground running. He's already taken a look at, reviewing our ISO to see where we could possibly make some improvements there. How can we better maximize 833 funding? He's looking at other federal fire grants for us. So it's very, very exciting. And one of the very first things that he did was put in place a new dispatch system where all the first responders actually get toned out on their cell phone. So that's going to increase our response rates. It will, be beneficial and a cost savings because we won't have to replace radios so often. And just, matter of fact, I'm going to let him tell you about the new dispatch system because it's pretty exciting.
Okay.
So with that, Chris, you want to come up and make sure you look into the camera so everybody can
Look
see
at
you.
the two cameras.
Why don't you pick up one of the mics and talk into that so everyone can hear?
Can I borrow yours?
I wasn't ready to give a speech, but I'm very honored and excited and very thankful for this opportunity, and I enjoy the challenges, and I know we have a great crew here, and this is a great area. So there's a few things that we need to get taken care of, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So one of the first things I implemented was that dispatch system like Lawrence was talking, and it gets us a head start, and that helps an ISO when it comes to response. So we'll actually get it before it's dispatched out on a radio, so that kind of gives us a head start. So basically, and then it gives us the address. We can use our map, so it can actually give us navigation, and it shows me who is responding at all of my responders. It'll tell me who's going to be there. I can also put in hydrant coordinates and LZ coordinates, target hazards as we call them, and a few other things. So I mean, it's a great resource in the fire service, and it's used all over the country. So this is a great place to implement it. So it'll definitely help us. So other than that, there's a few other things that are in the works, and what I'm going to work on is just continually making our department better and the community, just to help the community. And so that's my goal, and like I said, I look forward to working with every one of you. So I'm very thankful again. So
Yep. Welcome to the community.
all right.
what's the name of that cell phone app?
It's Active 911?
That's, when I was on the ambulance board, we bought some kind of package, that would go on cell phones that you could,
That may be the e-dispatch, is that
Huh?
There's a few e-dispatch?
tell it.
You know what that one is? There's a few out there.
I don't know, it was something I was opposed to, but
Okay.
I lost it.
Yeah. And it's less than
I thought it was a
$10
waste
for the
of
whole
money.
year. So per responder, so it's very inexpensive, so.
Very good. Very good.
Very nice meeting you guys.
All right.
Same here.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, all right.
Okay, any other ceremonials, recognition, proclamation, or memoriam? All right, then moving on.
I just would like to say that this is really a culmination for 18 years of effort on my part, and I'm so proud that we finally made it. I mean, I started on this in 2002.
Well, we gotta make it work now. That's what
Yeah.
we're here to do.
Can I make a suggestion that everyone pull the mic a little closer to them so that we're sure to pick up the sound on the recording? I'm not sure. I know I hear people, but I don't know if it's going through the mics or not.
If anybody that's on Zoom is having trouble picking up any of this, message Linda on Zoom, and she'll try to improve it. Okay, we have no standing committees or special committee reports at this meeting. This is a special meeting, and by rule, special meetings have to deal with the agenda items and the agenda items only. So we won't introduce any business here that's not on the agenda for tonight. The district manager is on the agenda. Lawrence, do you have anything else to bring up at this time?
No, Mr. Mayor, unless anybody has questions for me.
Seeing no hands, we'll move on. There's no old business for this meeting. Under new business, we're here to approve several resolutions. These resolutions are intended to basically allow us to set up shop as a city or as a town. Since we're starting from scratch, we have no ordinances, no municipal code that instructs us as to what we're authorized to do and how we're authorized to do it. So these first few resolutions are going to at least cover the very basics of what we need to be able to conduct business. The way we're going to do this is I'll introduce the resolution, and I'll ask for one of the council members to make a motion to put the resolution on the floor for consideration. We'll get a second on that motion and vote. Once it's approved, to be put on the floor for discussion and consideration, then Wes will read the resolution in its entirety on the short resolutions. The law requires that ordinances be read in their entirety. It does not require that resolutions be read in their entirety at the meeting. And a couple of these resolutions are very long and very standard, kind of Robert's Rules of Order stuff that's cut and pasted directly out of a manual. I don't see the need for us to read that in its entirety. So when we get to those, Wes will read it by title and give a summary of what's contained in the resolution. And all of the council members have copies of the resolution and have had an opportunity to read it. If anyone from the public wants to see a copy of the resolution, they can request one. We have no formal way yet of requesting information, so Wes's telephone number and my telephone number are both in the book. So if anybody out in the public wants a copy of these resolutions, they can request them and we'll try to make them available. So with that,
Mayor, can we not put those on a Facebook page, one of our existing Facebook pages?
well, we don't have a resolution yet. Really, that even establishes a Facebook page, but I'm not the Facebook expert. I don't know how easy it is to post those kinds of documents and access them on Facebook. So,
We can post them with links through Google Drive.
at this point, I'm quite sure that there aren't going to be a lot of requests for this. If I get a lot of telephone calls wanting copies of the resolutions, then we can put it on the Facebook page. But one of the things that we want to discuss in a future meeting, maybe in the next meeting, is what we're going to do relative to an official town Facebook page and things like that. So at this point, I guess I'm going to try to avoid making a decision as to what to post and what not to post until we have a plan as to what that process is going to be. With that all said, we'll start out with Resolution 2021-001, establishing meeting schedules. Do I have a motion to place that on the floor for consideration?
Second.
All right, Pat made the motion and Jerry seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So Wes, would you read that resolution?
Yes. Resolution number 2021-0001. A resolution establishing the time and location of town council meetings for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has recently incorporated with a town council that will be, that doesn't work with steam, which will be holding regular meetings. And whereas the town of Holiday Island currently does not have a municipal code which would establish the time and location for council meetings, and whereas the proposed city budget provides for this town of Holiday Island to contract with the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District for office space and administrative assistance, and whereas the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District has included this anticipated contract in their 2021 operating budget, and whereas in order to comply with the Freedom of Information Act, the public must be notified of the schedule for regular meetings as well as 2-hour notification of special meetings being given to those members of the public and media who have requested such notification. Now be it resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island that the regular meetings of the Town Council of Holiday Island be held on the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. in the boardroom at the district office at 110 Woodsdale Drive, Holiday Island, Arkansas. Every attempt will be made to publish the agenda for a regular meeting 2 business days prior to the meeting. Special meetings can be scheduled by the mayor as necessary with the proper 2-hour notification to those members of the public and press that have requested such notification. Public notification of meeting will be made in a manner similar to the method used by the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District and with assistance from the district. if circumstances beyond the control of the mayor or town council prevent in-person meetings at said location with a minimum of a 2-hour notification, the meetings can be moved to another location or be conducted via internet using Zoom or another suitable application. This resolution will remain in effect until such time as the time, location, and method of notification are established by ordinance of the town municipal code, passed and approved by the town council of Holiday Island, Arkansas, on this date of 1/7/2021.
Okay, do we have any discussion on the resolution? I will make a comment that we refer to an agreement between the town and the district. We are still working on that agreement and should have that ready to present to the town council, hopefully by our regular meeting later this month. Any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the resolution 2021-001.
I'll move we approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
Lynn seconded, and Linda made the motion. All in favor? Wes, you said we have to do this by roll call,
Yes,
so we should do it by, I should call each one,
yes.
okay? We will now vote. Pat? Aye. Lynn?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
All approved. So resolution 2021
We're supposed to call,
00.
Mr. Mayor, we're supposed to call in alphabetical order.
We'll try that at the next meeting. We're gonna have to rearrange the chairs.
I was gonna say, rearrange the chairs.
Mr. Mayor, I just got a text from my wife that says that a lot of people are saying they can't hear.
I can't hear it. Well,
Well, if, pull the mics closer.
yep, that's all we can do. It seemed to be picking it up, good when we tested it this afternoon. Maybe this will help.
She says no one can hear anything. Can you can't hear it? You're on.
Yes.
Can we get in?
I've gotten the text.
Okay, they can't hear anything. I don't know why.
Is the,
Oh, let me go see.
The microphone on the laptop needs to be turned on.
That might be it. Maybe the microphone needs to be turned on.
it's,
Oh, how we love technology.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof. See, there we were being careful and nobody could hear us.
We can say what we wanted to.
Right.
Everybody speak into your microphone, see if they can hear.
all right, everybody speak at one time.
Yeah.
Hello?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Dumas, 1, 2, 3.
Stilly, testing.
I can guarantee you my microphone's not working.
All right, we apologize to all the people on Zoom for a technical difficulty there. Let me kind of summarize and bring you up to date. We started the meeting at 6 o'clock. We did the Pledge of Allegiance. Lawrence introduced our new fire chief, and he gave us a little background on what his ideas are for the department here and everything, so we're off to a good start there. We just read and approved The first resolution, which is the reason for the meeting tonight, was to consider and approve several resolutions intended to allow the town to establish basic functions for operation. Resolution 2021-001 established the time and location for our regular meetings, being at 6 p.m. on the third Tuesday of each month in the boardroom at the district office at 110 Woodsdale Drive. And if need be, the resolution allows for the meeting to use applications such as Zoom for those that can't attend in person. And that motion, or that resolution, was passed. Now we're moving on to Resolution 2021-002. And thank you to Council Member Dumas for giving me an alphabetical list of the... For what it's worth, we did talk about this afternoon, and there was varying opinions about what you're supposed to do. If it's supposed to be alphabetical, or if you're supposed to rotate. Some locations rotate who votes first, so that the order of voting doesn't influence the outcome of the vote. In other words, if everybody is waiting to see how Lynn is going to vote, and he votes first, then he could influence the vote all the time. So I think we need to maybe give that some consideration.
For what it's worth, that's what we did when I was on the council in Oklahoma, is if I was the first this time, I'd be last on the next vote.
That's easy to do. I can just follow the handy-dandy list that Lynn gave me. All right, let's move on to resolution number 2021-002. This is probably the most important resolution for tonight, the resolution establishing bank accounts for Holiday Island, for the town. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor for consideration?
I make a motion, we put it on 2021-002 up for consideration.
Ken Mills moved. Do I have a second? Pat Elwood seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. So Wes, would you read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution number 2021-002. A resolution establishing bank accounts for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has been recently incorporated and must establish the capability to conduct the financial business of the town, and whereas the recorder treasurer for an incorporated town is responsible for receiving and distributing funds according to state law, ACA annotated 1459-101 through 118, and budgets approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, and whereas Wesley Stilley was duly elected Recorder Treasurer for the Town of Holiday Island, now be it resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island that Wesley Stilley, as Treasurer of the Town of Holiday Island, is hereby authorized to establish two bank accounts at CS Bank, formerly Cornerstone Bank, as required by ACA annotated 1459-104. One account will be identified as the Town of Holiday Island Street Fund, and one account to be identified as the Town of Holiday Island General Fund. The treasurer is further authorized to order checks per requirements defined in ACA annotated 1459-105. Also, per ACA annotated 1459-105, the printed check shall indicate signature requirements for 2 authorized dispersing officers of the city. The recorder treasurer, mayor, and 1 dispersing official appointed by the mayor and approved by the town council will be designated as authorized dispersing officials. The signatures of the authorized dispersing officials shall be recorded on the approved signature card at the bank. Also, the treasurer is authorized to establish a petty cash fund per ACA annotated 1459-106 with a maximum balance of $100. Also, the treasurer shall establish a record-keeping system and reports for ACA 1459-108 through 116, passed and approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas on the date of 1/7/2021.
Do we have any discussion on this resolution? After we approve this resolution, I do want to make a recommendation to the town council as to who to approve as the third signature on the bank account, so we'll deal with that after we pass the motion or the resolution. Hearing no discussion on the resolution, will someone make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-002?
I'll move that we approve Resolution 2021-002.
Do
Second.
we have a second? Jerry? Lynn made the motion and Jerry seconded. We will call for a vote in alphabetical order. Councilman Dumas?
Aye.
Councilman Elwood? Councilmember Graves?
Aye.
Councilmember Mills?
Aye.
Councilmember Pittman?
Aye.
It's unanimous, the resolution is adopted. I have not asked Linda if she would be the other signature on the check. Would you be willing to be on the signature card for checks?
Yeah.
Okay. I would request council approval for Linda to be appointed as the third person authorized to sign checks.
I'll make the motion that we be authorized to be the third person.
I'll second.
All right, this I think we can do by voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So Linda, thank you for volunteering. All right. Now we can move on to Resolution 2021 wait, before we move on. Wes did get some information back from the Secretary of State today. This may be a good time to
Yes.
update the council and the public on where we stand on that.
I had requested from the Secretary of State an update on where we stood with things that needed to be done with that office to complete the process of our incorporating. And I received a phone call back this morning that we were all complete there, that everything was done. And I was told then that they were sending over something, it didn't say what, to the Department of Finance and Administration. So apparently that must have been needed to complete it, but so far we are done there. At the State Treasurer's Office, I have been told that as far as receiving turnback funds, which I was told that they will need our banking information, which we will now be able to give them as soon as they get bank accounts set up, and they will need census information. Now, I inquired with this person from the Secretary of State's office where that came from, and that person said, well, they weren't sure, but they thought it would come from GIS. So, and that made sense, I guess. So they suggested we contact them. So we probably need to contact GIS to see where that stands. It would seem like that would be the last piece of the puzzle.
I agree. Lawrence has got contacts at GIS if you want to get the contact information, and I think it would be best for you to make the call, but
Okay,
he can give you some names and phone numbers of people that actually answer the phone when you call down there.
okay.
I have the contact that you need to get a hold of,
Okay, good.
and we will have it in about 2 seconds.
When you talk to the treasurer again, drop a hint that we're really entitled to turn back money going back to the date that the judge's order was signed. So, they should, give us some back pay on that. I don't know if they will, but it would seem like they should. Like they should go back and calculate what we would have been due in the months that they didn't have all of our information yet.
Let me ask you a question, if I might. As far as once you get the last piece and all the pieces are together, what's the timetable? Or do they have one as far as when we actually get the money?
Well, in the past, I have been told that we would start receiving our share of the funds as soon as they had all this information.
Every month we would get a deposit,
They pay monthly,
So we could expect something in February.
hopefully,
hopefully.
maybe even in January already if GIS can come up with whatever GIS comes up with at this point would have to be based on the 2010 census, but they should be able to do that. They should be able to at least approximate what our population is. They have all of the data from the 2010 census, and they can sort that by addresses that are within the boundaries and outside of the boundaries and come up with a population, so.
Now, the issue that I could see is when you talk about back payments, is that the city share of the money would have already been distributed to all the other cities in
And it's
Arkansas.
prorated, so, yeah. Well, it's worth a try. If you don't ask, you won't get it, but.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we're making progress there. So moving on to Resolution 2021-003. This is the one that we probably won't read in its entirety unless Wes just feels like he should or wants to. But it's a resolution establishing the rules for conducting the meeting and establishing a quorum. This is just really basic stuff that was cut and pasted out of the Municipal League manual. So do I have a motion to put this on the floor for consideration?
I'll move to do so.
Second.
Linda made the motion, Jerry seconded to put Resolution 2021-003 on the floor for consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so Wes, if you would read the title and then give us a summary of what's in the resolution.
Okay. This is resolution number 2021-003, a resolution establishing the rules for conducting the meetings and establishing a quorum. Whereas the town of Holiday Island's been recently incorporated with a town council that will be holding public meetings, and whereas the town of Holiday Island currently does not have a municipal code which would establish the agenda format for such meetings, determining a quorum of the council meetings, or procedural and rules for conducting meetings. Now be it resolved by the Town of Holiday Island that public notification of regular meetings will be made utilizing the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District newsletter and current list of periodicals and organizations who have requested to be notified. And the procedural rules for conducting meetings will be as follows. Note, these rules have been adopted from the Arkansas Municipal League Procedural Rules for Municipal Officials. The pattern of meetings. It sets out the agenda order for the meetings. Start with the call to order, roll call, approving minutes, reports of boards, reports of special committees, unfinished business, new business, public comments, which will be limited to 3 minutes, council member comments, announcements, adjournment, and that would be the meeting. And there may be deviation from the order of business by a motion to suspend the rules or by general consent. To secure general consent, the mayor states there will be a change in the order of business if no member objects. The mayor can recess a meeting for purposes of entering into executive session for purposes of discussion of employee discipline, promotion, or other personnel matters. And call to order, will be called to order at the appointed time. Roll call. Usually the mayor or other presiding officer will not call the meeting to order if a quorum is not present. A majority of council members is a quorum in all cities and towns. In cities of the second class and towns, the mayor may vote to form a quorum at any meeting. The clerk or recorder will call the roll. The presiding officer may say, the clerk will call the roll. When the clerk or recorder calls the roll, he calls the names of the members alphabetically or by wards and concludes by calling Mr. or Mrs. Mayor. After the roll call is complete, the mayor will declare a quorum. Then it comes to approving the minutes, reports of the committees. No public comment will be solicited nor debate conducted during the reports. If discussion or debate is required, it can be brought up under new business or during the public comment period. Then unfinished business will be brought up. Then new business. When the unfinished business has been completed, the mayor calls for new business by either referring to the agenda or asking, is there any new business to come before the council? This offers an opportunity for members to bring up any motion that they wish to have considered by the governing body. If no new business is presented and the mayor knows of matters that should be considered, he informs the governing body of those matters and asks if any member wishes to propose a motion covering them. Then next is public comments. The town of Holiday Island is committed to disclosure of the business activities of the town to the public, as well as the public's ability to make comments at public meetings. They will be offered the opportunity to make comments on matters before the town council. To participate, the person shall stand and gain recognition by the mayor. Then advances to the microphone He must state his or her name and address, followed by a concise statement of the person's position on the question under discussion. Repetitive comments should be avoided. This applies to comments made previously to the council or by a member of the council. All remarks should be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any particular member of the council or town employee. No person other than the council member and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter into any discussion without permission from the mayor. No question shall be asked of the council member or town employee except, no question shall be asked of the council member or town employee except through the mayor. The mayor may regain the floor from public comments at any time. All members of the public are requested to accord the utmost courtesy to members of the council, to other members of the public appearing before the council, and to the municipal officials who are asked to refrain at all times from rude or derogatory remarks, reflections of integrity, abusive comments, and statements as to motives and personalities. The mayor may remove disruptive and unruly persons from meetings. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by the mayor. Next will be announcements. When all members who wish to present motions have done so, the mayor calls for announcements. At adjournment, when the business of the meeting appears to be completed, some members should move to adjourn. As soon as a motion to adjourn is proposed, the mayor should put the motion to a vote, and if the motion carries, he announces that the meeting is adjourned. The meeting is not adjourned until formal announcement of its adjournment is made by the mayor. If no member moved to adjourn, the mayor may suggest that if there is no further business, some members should move to adjourn. There's a section on how motions are handled, how the council members make motions and address the mayor, addressing the chair. If they want to, any member of the council may propose a motion, he may do this at any appropriate time whenever there is no business before the assembly. Provides for the method for the mayor to recognize the council members. Proposing a motion or resolution, it says a motion is a proposal that the assembly shall take certain action. It is always stated in the form, I move, followed by the proposal to be considered. There's a section on seconding motions. Then the mayor will state the motion. The motion will be discussed from the floor in the same manner as he does to propose a motion. Once a member has been recognized for the purpose of discussing a motion, he must be protected in his right to speak so long as he observes the rules of decorum and confines his remarks to the subject. Debate is restricted to the measure under consideration, and neither its proposer nor its motives can be discussed. The rules of debate require that all discussion be impersonal and that it be addressed to the presiding officer. And then, in public comments on a motion, on rare occasions, the mayor may open the discussion for public comment. Comment period should be limited in time, recommended 3 minutes. The mayor can cut off public comment as he that is deemed inappropriate. Section on voting on the motion. Then there's a section that sets out the precedence and classification of motions according to their importance. There are 4 classes of motions: main motions, subsidiary motions, incidental motions. There's a section on discussion of a question, division of the assembly, privileged motions, rules of precedence, and a section on a quorum. It says a quorum is a minimum number of members that must be present at a meeting in order to transact business legally. Before a mayor calls a council meeting to order, he should be reasonably sure that a quorum is present. If a quorum is not present, all the group can do is fix a time for another meeting and adjourn. This resolution will remain in effect until such time as the rules for conducting council meetings is established by accordance in the town municipal code. You see, there's a misspelling in that then. Established.
This is the Arkansas version, it's just
Okay.
Established.
We'll correct the typo.
I heard it pronounced established.
Established, yeah, that's it.
Okay, is there any discussion on Resolution 2021-003? A lot of this isn't of terrible importance to us, but it's the standard rules that they recommend. We won't spend a lot of time pondering whether or not we're considering a main motion or an incidental motion, but,
Mr. Mayor,
yes,
on the page 1 of the resolution, item 9, it says council member comments, and I'm looking ahead a little bit, but before we approve it, we might note that in Resolution 04, that line item for the agenda is not present. So I don't know if we want to discard it here or include it in Resolution 4 when we get to that. So we don't have a formal place in Resolution 4 for council member comments.
true. We'll add it to Resolution 004.
When we get there? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this motion makes reference on the roll call, usually the mayor or the other presiding officer. In your absence, are we going to have a vice mayor, or will the clerk, treasurer lead the meetings?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
I don't know what what did they do in Oklahoma?
The mayor appoints one of the others as a vice mayor.
Okay. Permanently or just on occasions when they need to appoint somebody?
No, that for the term.
Okay. All right, I'll have to consider that then.
Mr. Mayor. In Iowa, I think they had a mayor pro tem,
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you can,
same thing.
we might want to consider a resolution at the next meeting
Yeah.
to address that in case you get hit by a bus or something.
It should be.
And Mr. Mayor, I believe I read a statute where it describes the process of appointing a mayor and a recorder treasurer in their absence if a quorum is present for a meeting. There's a statute that tells us how to do that.
I'd say there ought to be a statute.
I don't recall the number, but I remember seeing it.
Okay, we'll look into that. Any other discussion on Resolution 2021-003? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve this resolution with the correction of the typo.
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-003 as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ken made the motion, Jerry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Let's see, I gotta go. We're gonna do this on a rotation basis. I'll call the roll for the vote. Pat? Linda?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
All five approved the resolution. So the resolution passes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes?
I have a question then. Back in this rules for conducting a meeting, it specified the method for calling roll. And that says the clerk will call the roll. When the clerk or recorder calls the roll, he calls the names of the members alphabetically or by wards and concludes by
I don't know that section refers to when we're calling for votes. Isn't that just a roll call in the beginning of the meeting?
Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to Resolution 2021-004, a resolution establishing the agenda format for the town council meetings for the town of Holiday Island. Do I have a motion to place this on the floor for consideration?
I'll move we place it on the floor.
Linda's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lynn seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the resolution's on the floor. Wes, would you read Resolution 2021-004?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 2021-004. A resolution establishing the agenda format for the town council meetings for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has been recently incorporated with the town council that will be holding public meetings, and whereas the town of Holiday Island currently does not have a municipal code which would establish the agenda format for council meetings, and now it be resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island that the following agenda format will be followed for all regular public meetings. The agenda format for special meetings will be similar but cannot be adjusted, but can be adjusted as necessary. The mayor, by his or her designee, is responsible for preparing the agenda. The recorder treasurer will distribute the agenda along with supporting information as required to the council members for review prior to the meeting. The agenda will be posted as a public notification for public meetings. This resolution will remain in effect until such time as the agenda format is established by ordinance of the town municipal code, passed and approved by the town council of Holiday Island, Arkansas on this date of January 7, 2021. And the agenda that follows is as follows. the Town of Holiday Island, Town Council meeting agenda, regular meeting date blank, time blank, 110 Woodsdale Drive, Holiday Island, Arkansas. Number 1 is called to order. 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. 3, the roll call, declaration of a quorum. Number 4, approve agenda. 5, approve minutes. 6, ceremonials, recognitions, proclamations, and memoriam. 7, reports of the standing committees, special committees, and the HICID district manager. Business, old business, and new business. Public comments, 3-minute time limit. Next 10 is scheduling regular meeting, any special meetings, workshops, announcements, and adjournment. Now, you had, Lynn, an item that needed to be inserted about,
Yes, Wes, let me recommend that council member comments be item 10, which would move scheduling to 11, announcements 12, adjournment 13.
so that be new number 10.
An option would be to just have public comments and council member comments both under number 9. That way the numbering system wouldn't have to change.
I think it'd be better to have them separated personally.
so.
Okay.
I agree.
So make council member comments number 10, scheduling 11, announcements 12, adjournment 13.
Mr. Mayor, should we make comment, reference to executive sessions where it would fall if we go into an executive session?
Executive session is normally under new business, right? Because you adjourn into executive session and then,
It would be an item of new business.
and then you come back into regular session. Okay, any other discussion on the resolution on agenda format? If there's no other discussion, I would entertain a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-004 with the changes as recommended by the council.
I move that we approve 2021-004 with the amendments.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll call for the vote. We'll
Who's the
start.
second?
Second.
Ken was the second. All right. The roll for voting, Linda,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Pat? Okay, it's unanimous. So the motion passes. I hope you don't mind me using your first names as opposed to council member. All right, moving on to resolution number 2021-006, a resolution establishing the code of conduct for the town of Holiday Island.
What happened to 5?
We're not doing 5?
5 was...
We can do 6.
What happened to number 5? I didn't print off number 5, that's what happened to it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Here, copy.
I got it right here.
Here, I think, is an extra one that I found.
Oh, here's an extra.
All right, the all-important resolution number 2021-005, a resolution establishing the 2021 annual operating budget for the town of Holiday Island. Do I have a motion to put this resolution on the floor for consideration?
Make motion
Pat,
2021-005.
Pat made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ken seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Wes, would you read the resolution?
Yes, okay, resolution number 2021-005. A resolution establishing the 2021 annual operating budget for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the Town Council of Holiday Island has made a comprehensive study and review of the budget, and whereas the opinion of the Town Council, the proposed 2021 budget as accurately and as possible reflects the anticipated revenue and expenditures of the 2021 calendar year. Now be it resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas, that Section 1, this resolution shall become the budget resolution for the Town of Holiday Island, Arkansas for the 12-month period beginning January 1, 2021 and ending on December 31, 2021, and that the attached 2021 documents reflect estimated revenues and expenditures for the detail of the period. All revenue and expenditures are based on estimated revenues, and all estimates are subject to change during the budgetary year. Section 2, the amounts for revenue and expenditures proposed for the 2021 town budget are hereby authorized and appropriated for the purposes set forth for the calendar year ending December 31, 2021. It shows the estimated revenue and the appropriations by fund. For the general fund, we are proposing $233,650 for revenue and $185,730 in expense. In the street fund, revenue of $174,554 and expenditures of $167,000. This gives a total of $408,204 of revenue and $352,730 of expense. Passed and approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas on this date of January 7th, 2021. Now, I might comment that on the revenue side, a couple of things. One, this budget includes estimated revenue for the month of January, which may or may not occur. If it doesn't occur, if we don't receive anything for January, then revenue would be less and expenditures would need to be adjusted accordingly. And in my opinion, that should be able to be done without amending a budget. We would have to take that into account in coming up with what money we would have to spend. If we would not include revenue for January and then would receive revenue or even revenue, say, for December, then we would have more revenue than expected. And if we wanted to use it for some purpose, we would have to amend the budget to increase our budgeted expenditures. I will also comment on the street fund. There is nothing included in there for our share of the 3 mil county property tax for roads. I think there's a question of whether we will receive that. It's probably, in my mind, it's probably doubtful, because what the county is collecting in taxes this year is 2020 taxes, and we were not incorporated in 2020 until December. So I think it's doubtful whether they will share that with us.
I agree. And, is that it, Wes?
Yes.
Okay. For Lawrence's benefit, these numbers do tie to the commitments made to the district that were incorporated into the district budget. And just as a matter of information, I guess, the town council is required to approve the budget by February 1st of every year.
Correct.
And approving it by resolution is the normal way that it's done, at least around here. So this would keep us legal by passing the resolution. Is there any discussion on the resolution on the budget? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-005.
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 2021-005.
To be clear, that's 2021-005.
There you go.
Second.
And Ken made the motion, Jerry seconded. Any other discussion? If not, I think Ken goes first this time.
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Pat? Aye. Linda?
Aye.
It's unanimous, the resolution passes. Now we get to Resolution 2021-006, a resolution establishing the code of conduct. I'm making an edit here before we even consider the motion. The motion as drafted says a resolution establishing the code of conduct for the town of Holiday Island. Well, I would love to be able to establish the code of conduct for the entire town of Holiday Island. It's probably beyond the scope of our authority. So I'm inserting municipal officers, so the resolution will be actually titled a resolution establishing the code of conduct for municipal officers for, and it probably should say and employees, because it refers to employees.
Well, the
No,
resolution doesn't.
No, this resolution is just for the municipal officers. So let me start over. This resolution will be titled a resolution establishing the code of conduct for municipal officers for the town of Holiday Island. Wes, would you read the motion? Read the resolution.
Okay.
I thought we had to vote on it.
Didn't we?
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't put it on the floor, I don't.
I got ahead of myself.
That's what I was,
Do I have a motion to put Resolution 2021-006 on the floor for consideration?
I'll move you, put it on the floor.
I'll second.
Linda moved and Lynn seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Wes, would you read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution 2021-006. A resolution establishing the code of conduct for the municipal officers for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has been recently incorporated with the municipal officials who will be interacting with each other and the public, and whereas the town of Holiday Island currently does not have a municipal code which would establish a code of conduct, now it be it resolved by the town of Holiday Island that the municipal officers, mayor, council members, recorder, and recorder treasurer shall hold themselves accountable to the following principles and guidelines. Number 1, conduct in public meetings. Practice civility and decorum in all discussion and debate. Municipal officials will not make belligerent, personal, impertinent, slanderous, threatening, abusive, or disparaging comments, period. No shouting or physical actions that should be construed as threatening will be tolerated. Therefore, avoid personal comments that could offend other municipal officials. Honor the role of the mayor in maintaining order. Be respectful of other members of the town council, boards, commissions, committees, city staff, and the public by refraining from abusive conduct, personal charges, or verbal attacks. Treat fellow municipal officials with respect you expect to receive in return. Always address citizens, employees, committee members, and fellow municipal officials with respect. Request the opportunity to speak and address the council through the mayor or other person conducting the meeting. Recognize fellow municipal officials and guest speakers by their formal names and appropriate titles. After initial acknowledgement, the terms Mr. or Ms. may be used. Be respectful of others' time and be brief and prepared in making remarks. Be prompt in attending public meetings so that they may begin at the publicly posted time. Number 2, conduct with the public. Be polite and professional to speakers. Municipal officials should remember that their behavior will either relax the speaker or push their emotion to a higher level of intensity. Therefore, limit comments to issues and avoid personal attacks. Remain seated when someone is speaking at the podium. Give the appearance of active listening. Ask for clarification, but avoid debate and argument with the public. Do not engage in personal attacks of any kind under any circumstances. Make no promises on behalf of the council or staff, and make no personal comments about other public officials. The Town of Holiday Island Code of Conduct with affirmation. This code of conduct is designed to describe the manner in which the mayor, council members, and recorder treasurer should treat one another and others with whom they come in contact in representing the town of Holiday Island. I affirm that I have read and understand the Town of Holiday Island Code of Conduct. The principles and guidelines for mayors and municipal officials set forth in this document promote civility and a set of standard of excellence that engenders trust and promotes the public good. This municipality will not condone activities that are in violation of these principles of appropriate conduct. And then there's provision for it to be signed by the mayor, recorder treasurer, and the council members. I guess I should finish it. The municipal officials are requested to reaffirm commitment to this policy annually after new officials are sworn in. Passed and approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas, in this date of January 7, 2021.
Okay, again, this is basically extracted directly from the Municipal League manuals. So this is pretty typical. Do I have any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote, starting this time with Jerry.
Don't we have to sign it?
Yes. And I'm getting ahead of myself again. I didn't ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
All right, I'll move to approve it.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-006. I'll call for the roll, and before leaving tonight, everyone should sign Wes's copy, because he'll have the original. Jerry?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Pat? Linda?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
All right, let's all have approved Resolution 2021-006, so it's approved. Moving on to Resolution 2021-007, a resolution establishing temporary purchasing policy for the town of Holiday Island. Do I have a motion to put this resolution on the floor for consideration?
I move that we consider Resolution 2021-007.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Lynn made the motion, Linda seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So Wes, would you read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution number 2021-007. A resolution establishing a temporary purchasing policy for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has been recently incorporated and as such does not have a municipal code defining purchasing and bidding, and whereas the town of Holiday Island must make purchases in order to establish a functioning town government, and whereas there are specific requirements for making expenditures set forth in the Arkansas Code. Now be it resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island that per ACA annotated 1458-303, the mayor and/or his or her duly authorized representatives has exclusive authority to make purchases, to enter into contracts requiring expenditures of public funds. Daniel Keys, as mayor of the town of Holiday Island, designates the recorder treasurer Wesley Stilley as being authorized to also make purchases. All contracts, regardless of amount, must be approved by the town council before making any commitments with regard to a contract. All provisions of ACA annotated 1458-104 and 1458-303 apply to this resolution. This resolution will remain in effect until such time as the bidding and purchasing policy is defined by the town municipal code. Passed and approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas on this date of January 7, 2021.
Okay, any discussion on this resolution?
You have to put it on the floor.
Boy, you people are sticklers.
Say what?
Do I have a motion to put this resolution? No, we did. We did that.
We did it?
No.
We did that. That's why I
You
wasn't
make a
ready.
motion to approve it.
I didn't,
You did not make a motion to approve.
yeah, I'm just calling for discussion right now.
Okay.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Do we have any discussion on the resolution?
Ask for discussion.
Just, Mr. Mayor, one question, and it may be answered by this will remain in effect until the bidding and purchasing policy is defined. But will we be establishing like a purchase order system? Say if we need some supplies or what, and somebody's going to Rogers, to Sam's, if that person could get a purchase order to make that where...
I'm going to say yes, although it may be some time before we make enough purchases that, that it's even
Okay.
necessary. I mean, it's the right way to do it. I mean, that's certainly the case when, especially if we start receiving bills in the mail and stuff, you have to be able to tie that back to a purchase order just for good practice. And in fact, I don't recall, I was afraid somebody would ask what's in ACA annotated 1458-104 and 58-303. I've read them. I don't recall off the top of my head what's all included in it, but I believe those are the Arkansas code that covers things like purchase orders and, matching and bidding requirements and stuff like that. There's different, depending on whether you're a town or a second-class city or a first-class city, there's different levels of expenditure that require bidding and council approval and things like that. So, once we get to the ordinance, that will have to be spelled out in much more detail. This was basically intended to allow us to, get a couple of PCs and a printer and start getting set up to do business. Any other discussion on the resolution? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-007.
Make a motion, we approve Resolution 2021-007.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ken made the motion, Jerry seconded it. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote, starting this time with Lynn.
Aye.
Pat? Aye. Linda?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
All five approved, so that resolution is adopted. Moving on to resolution number 2021-008, a resolution establishing retention policy for a document retention policy for the town of Holiday Island. Do I have a motion to put this resolution on the floor for consideration?
I move that we put the resolution 2021-008 on the floor.
Lynn made the motion, Pat seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition. Wes, would you read the resolution? For the record, Wes is taking notes.
Some notes. Minimal amount. Okay, resolution number 2021-008. A resolution establishing a document retention policy for the town of Holiday Island. Whereas the town of Holiday Island has been recently incorporated and as such does not have a municipal code defining record retention, and whereas there are specified requirements for record retention set forth in Arkansas Code ACA annotated 14-2-201 through 104. Now, be it resolved by the Council of Holiday Island that the town of Holiday Island Recorder Treasurer will be responsible for establishing minutes of the town council meetings. The Recorder Treasurer shall retain a copy of records in accordance with ACA annotated 14-2-201 through 204 with specific attention to record retention requirements set forth in 14-2-204 as follows. B. Where is A?
A's not in there because this is extracted from the Arkansas Code and A doesn't apply.
Okay. Okay. Cities of the first class, cities of the second class, and incorporated towns may by ordinance declare a policy of record retention and disposal, provided that 1, the city or town complies with any specific statute regarding municipal records, and 2, the following records are maintained permanently in either the original or electronic format as required by law. A, ordinances. B, city council minutes. C, resolutions. D, annual financial audits. And E, year-end financial statements. Records will also be maintained and made available upon request per ACA annotated 2519-101 through 2519-110, the Freedom of Information Act. All council members, city officials, and city employees must be familiar with the Freedom of Information Act and will be responsible for retaining and producing documents and records as prescribed in the law. This resolution will remain in effect until such time as the requirements are defined in the town municipal code. This is passed and approved by the town council of Holiday Island, Arkansas, on this date of January 7, 2021.
Do we have any discussion on the motion? Before I ask for discussion, there is a typo in the second whereas. It should say 201 through 204, not 104. We'll correct that. Any discussion?
The first line in the resolution, I will be responsible for, I suggest maybe maintaining minutes rather than establishing. I don't know if it's critical, but the code may say establishing. I haven't read the code.
Where did you see that?
Under now it be resolved, the first sentence,
The first sentence for establishing.
will be
minutes.
responsible for maintaining minutes of the council meetings. And maybe the language comes directly from the statute, so establishing would be fine.
Yeah, that, I'm sure I copied that directly out
Okay.
of the statute.
All right.
And just for the record, because the recorder treasurer is responsible for establishing the minutes, that doesn't mean that the recorder treasurer has to personally take the minutes. And this gives me an opportunity to recognize that Barb Kuhn is taking minutes for us tonight. She's on the Zoom meeting, which makes it all the more important that the audio portion be working.
Yeah, Lynn has an audio recording, strictly audio, that's separate from Zoom.
All right.
Right, Lynn?
Except for the first minute and a half. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I failed to get it turned on.
Okay, any discussion on the resolution? Hearing no discussion, I'll entertain a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-008.
So moved.
Do we have a motion?
Second,
Do we have a second?
I did, second.
All right, Jerry made the motion, Linda seconded it. Any discussion? All right, we'll call for a vote. I think this time we start with Pat. Aye. Linda?
Aye.
Ken? Aye. Jerry?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
All approved, so the motion carries. Now we're going to skip Resolution 2021-009 because that deals with an agreement between the city and the district for renting office space and contracting for administrative services, and we have not had time to work on that yet, so that we'll try to get that in the next meeting maybe. So then, I found my resolution 005.
Okay.
I'm numerically order challenged here. Moving on to resolution number 2021-010, a resolution authorizing the town of Holiday Island to apply for a state aid city street program grant. Do I have a motion to put this resolution on the floor for consideration?
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 2021-010 for consideration.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ken made the motion, Jerry seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Wes, would you read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution number 2021-010. A resolution authorizing the town of Holiday Island to apply for a state aid city street program grant. Whereas the town of Holiday Island qualifies to participate in the Arkansas State Aid for Streets program, whereas the application and award of these grant funds require no financial commitment from the town, and whereas receiving these grant funds would substantially boost the Holiday Island Street resurfacing program, now be it resolved by the Town Council of Holiday Island that the mayor is authorized to apply for a grant to resurface Hawk Drive from Eagle Drive to Wild Turkey, passed and approved by the Town Council of Holiday Island, Arkansas on this date of 1/7/2021. Now, would you like me to read, attached to that then is the grant application.
You don't have to read the grant
Okay.
application.
I would think so.
I can
Summarize.
either I can summarize it, actually, my mind went blank. Lawrence, sorry Lawrence, but my mind just went blank. Lawrence knows more about this program actually than I do, but I can summarize that there's a certain amount of money every year that gets put into a fund. I think it's $20 million a year that the state puts into a fund that is almost kind of managed by a committee of mayors of the cities around Arkansas. This committee accepts applications, grant applications. They prioritize, they consider which ones they think are meritorious, and then they make a decision as to who's going to be awarded a grant. And once you're selected, then they turn it over to the highway department or transportation department, who assigns an engineer. The engineer comes out and looks at the job, agrees or disagrees that it meets the requirements of the grant program, and then they do all the work, really. I mean, they do the engineering, they do the contracting or the bidding. I believe they do the bidding, and would probably even supervise the project completion. The resolution says there's no financial commitment on the part of the town. I want to put a little context to that. Because we're an incorporated town, we are not required to match or contribute anything to the grant. If we are elevated to a city of the second class officially before the grant is awarded, we may have to pay up to 10%, right? I believe it's 10%.
Depending upon the population.
Yeah. And, of course, that 10% can come out of our turnback money, so it wouldn't be an undue burden. They don't require, when you do the grant application, they don't require that you provide any cost estimates or anything else. The grant application is very simple. But there is a $250,000 max, so you have to kind of know what your project is going to cost before you apply for the grant. Because if your project ends up costing more than what they're willing to give you, then you have choices to make. You can either scale back the project, or you can come up with the extra money yourself, or maybe just decide not to do it, that it's not, doesn't make financial sense. So, there's all kinds of exit opportunities, if it turns out that there would be a financial commitment that we wouldn't be able to live up to or to deal with. So that's why I say that there's no financial risk to the town. So, Lawrence, I believe that I'm correct on all of that.
Would you like to say something?
Sure.
First off, Mr. Mayor, I think you did an excellent job summarizing the program. The only thing that I would add is I did have an opportunity to contact and talk with the outgoing chairman of the committee, and he was very helpful in developing the program. The one important thing I wanted to point out is it's very unlikely that we will get approved for this funding for 2021. And the reason why is because the committee has to review it, the engineers have to have time to develop the project, go out to bid, those kind of things. But we stand a very good chance of getting it in 2022. I was told that this isn't a commitment, but they do prioritize communities that have not received a grant in a while or have never received a grant. And I just wish that this was a program that would have been available to us before, but with the city or the town, we're now eligible for some significant funding to help pave the streets. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
I do.
Yes.
Is this the only thing that the committee will see, is this one page of paper for our proposal and our request?
Councilmember Dumas to the mayor, yes, that's the only thing that you're going to see.
Okay.
That is the grant application. It's the simplest grant application I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay. I just wonder if we could add any weight to the condition statement. The last paragraph talks about repairs have been made and the side hills are stabilized. Something like the road was paved initially 17 years ago. It has 107 patches in it,
Sure, absolutely. We
just
can
to
do that.
add some weight to how damaged the road is.
But we can make this anything we want.
Sure.
But they really don't want a long, sad story.
Okay.
Everybody's got a long, sad story, and they have limited amount of time. They basically look at it, if I were in their position, this is the way I would look at it. Holiday Island, they're a brand-new town, they've never asked for money before, they've never got any turnback money in 50 years. I think they should go to the top of the list. That's the way I'd look at it. And, I don't think that they want to they're probably going to get, 2,000 grant requests. They don't want to read a lot of stuff, in fact, this, with a little bit of modification, is, they give you the letter that you're supposed to send in with the grant application.
Okay.
So, and it's very brief, so.
And another encouraging point that I received from the outgoing chairman of the committee is don't overthink the application. And if they run into problems, they work very well with the town to make sure that the project works for everybody.
Yeah, this is a program kind of run by mayors, so they're not they're not looking to make it difficult for anybody. I did talk to Mayor McKinney in Berryville a couple of weeks ago, and he said you're pretty much guaranteed to get something every other year. They didn't get anything in he didn't apply last year because they got money, so he was going to apply again this year. So, I think we got a good chance. And our own estimate on this was about $211,000. So it's within, if our estimate is even close, it's going to be within reason. I see one side benefit to this. Since the state is going to be doing the bidding on this, it'll give us an opportunity to see how competitive the bids we've been getting all these years are. When the district bids the road jobs every year, there's only two companies that ever bid on it, Hutchinson and Jimmy Jones, whatever his company's called. And I'm sure they're not trying to take us to the cleaners or anything else, but they also know that nobody else is bidding, so it's almost like non-competitive bidding. So this will give us a chance to see if the state can bring in other pavers that may do it for a lot less money.
And the amount, Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
the amount of this proposed contract would be the equivalent of what your annual budget is. So this would allow us to have a whole additional year's money
yeah.
for the repaving.
And
I did drive down Hawk Drive the other day, and it could use some help.
yeah, and it's all on the end, or there's one bad spot between Hawk Lane and Wild Turkey, but most of the problem area is on the end where all of the heavy road construction was done. There were trucks going in and out of there all the time with 10-ton dump trucks or whatever, the 10-yard dump trucks. So the road did take a lot of wear and tear during that time.
This is really a win-win situation. I mean, if you read that the statute or the, whatever that document is they got from there, it's just, they do it for you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
did I hear you say that the grants are limited to 250? Okay.
yeah, that's the maximum that you can get.
I did read the list of contracts that had been awarded in last year. I don't know how they paid for it, but Eureka Springs got one for $270-some thousand, so I think sometimes they make allowances.
Either that or they paid the difference.
They could have paid the difference.
They may have paid the 30,000 difference. Any other discussion on the resolution? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Who seconded it? Ken? Linda approved the motion, or made the motion. Ken seconded it. Any other discussion? We'll call for the vote. Who did I start with the last time?
Lynn.
All right. Ken?
Aye.
Jerry? Aye. Lynn?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
All five approved. The resolution passes, and I'll have this in the mail yet this week. That's all the resolutions we were going to consider this evening. Thank you very much. We got a lot accomplished. We will now be able to start conducting some business. Next on the agenda would be public comments. If anybody in the public wants to make comments, they should raise their hand on Zoom.
And I have one hand raised by Rebecca Sherman.
Okay?
Rebecca, are you there? Her mic's on.
Is your volume turned up? I turned it down.
Well, she should be able to hear me through the microphone here.
We can't hear her if she's talking to us. If your speaker's not turned on,
Oh, if my speaker's on.
I turned your speaker down because it was giving feedback earlier.
I guess that's true.
It's on the top. There you go.
Here we go. Okay. Rebecca, are you there?
Rebecca said she doesn't have a microphone.
Oh, well, why'd she raise her hand?
I gotta turn it down.
Okay, go on to someone else then.
Okay. Is there any other hands raised?
What she said.
No.
Yeah?
You are establishing a monthly date for the meeting.
Repeat that, Jeanette.
Are you establishing a monthly date for the meeting?
Yes, that was the very first resolution.
And it's the third, what, Tuesday, third Tuesday
Right.
Turn the mic off.
at 6.
Hold on. There, you got it.
Rebecca said thank you.
If you turn that mic off, we don't get any sound with the recording, you know.
That's
Okay.
true. That's true.
Or the listeners in the Zoom cloud don't hear anything.
Unless you turn your mic on.
Well, can we turn this mic on and the audio?
Yeah.
Turn the audio up on this?
Yeah, you can do that.
Turn your audio
Are
down.
there any
I'll turn
other
mine
hands
down.
raised?
Yeah, speaker down.
Any other comments, right?
See if you can hear Jeanette.
Okay, just a second.
Jeanette's on, I
Oh, okay.
Wes, do you
Okay,
need a drink?
somebody try to talk now.
Do you need a drink? Do you need a drink? I have not opened it.
think. That's okay.
Where are we at here?
I usually tend to go too long with
I had the audio turned off on that PC, by the way.
I turned it back on.
Okay, good.
I don't know, I heard Jeanette on yours.
Yeah, but it was given.
So are we waiting for somebody on the Zoom meeting to,
Jeanette has her hand raised.
okay, recognize her and,
Is she talking? I'll put her back on mine if you want.
It's,
Yeah, nobody's talking.
Jeanette, talk.
Turn the volume down.
Go ahead, dogs listening, barking.
well, I think we've,
That was a mistake. My hand was up.
Okay.
okay.
turn yours down.
Okay, mine's turned down.
Okay, have Jeanette talk.
Jeanette, talk again.
Please.
It was a mistake. My hand was up. But Rebecca also said the Zoom content for the meetings should be kept for the record.
We agree.
We agree.
That's her comment.
Okay. Rebecca Sherman said that we need to keep the Zoom content, maintain copy of the Zoom content of the meetings, which we'd already planned to do.
Right.
And an audio recording as a backup.
So, does anyone else have a hand raised?
No? Well, Rebecca does, but she doesn't have a mic evidently. Is she doing this on chat?
That's what it appears.
I can't seem to bring chat up, so. Can anyone else bring chat up?
I can.
Okay.
It doesn't appear like there's any other comments on chat.
Okay.
All right, then we're going to move on. Since we added commissioner or council member comments to the standard agenda, do we have any council member comments?
I have one question, I think. we're looking at purchasing some equipment, I know, and how will that equipment be approved for purchase?
At this point, I think we would want to, well, it depends on if all we're doing is buying computers and it's,
And printers?
yeah, and
Internet.
it's low dollar.
What's low
I don't know,
dollar?
let me leave it up to the council. Do we want the council to approve it? Ordinarily, I would say that would be an expenditure that, that Wes or I could approve, because it's not going to be for thousands of dollars, it's going to be for hundreds of dollars. However, since we're just in our infancy here,
I think we
does the
need,
council want to consider that before we make a purchase?
I think we need to understand what we're trying to, what kind of a setup we're, trying to establish. That I would,
Does the Arkansas Code establish thresholds?
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like $10,000 or something like that.
And, you got increments, it's like 5,000, 10,000,
I
and 20.
can double check on that, but I'm almost
I
positive.
would say,
Well below it.
I would say generally, you two could go ahead and do it, but I would like to know what kind of a network we're trying to set up, okay? And we haven't done that yet, and I think that needs to be a council decision.
Yeah. I'm not sure we need to know what our full-blown IT system is going to be before we go out and buy a couple of computers, but
Well, you're going to have some storage capabilities, which would be some external hard drives probably. I mean,
I asked Linda to work on this because of her expertise, so...
I just think we need to establish some general principles of what we're gonna do. And I also know a little bit about them. And so,
I have no objection to bringing the proposal before the council.
Yeah, we can do that at the
We might
next
need a
meeting.
special meeting or
We'll
something,
put it,
but
we'll put it on the agenda for the 19th.
under general comments, I guess I don't know whether it'd be under the scheduling, but I thought the process of having a workshop where we went through all these things and, did a lot of the, back and
Just
forth and
discussion.
got them pretty well where we wanted them before we went to the actual meeting. And I still think if we're going to have, more than two or three items, a workshop is very useful. I would like you to consider that.
Workshops still have to be done in public,
I know, but
so
you don't have,
if Linda works on it and comes to the council with a proposal, then the project will move along pretty fast.
well,
if we-
I'm not just talking about that, I'm talking about, when our next regular meeting would be the third Tuesday of January,
The 19th, yeah.
so.
I would love an opportunity to talk about it in a workshop prior to that. If you would
I
want
just
to.
think, they're kind of informal.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of, I really enjoyed the workshop we had a couple of weeks ago. And, I thought it went very well. Especially since we're going through so many different things right now.
I know y'all are probably tired of me saying what we did in Oklahoma, but that's experience I have. And we had one workshop a month, and it was very helpful. It kept regular meetings to a reasonable length. And, I mean, I would not be opposed to, if we're going to have a regular meeting on the third Tuesday having a workshop on the first Tuesday.
Yeah, I totally agree, and we're gonna be getting into some things that are much more complicated than what kind of computers we're gonna buy. So, I just would like to have one person that has some degree of expertise, do a lot of groundwork before we get into a workshop, because trying to design an IT system by committee, we'll never get there. Yeah.
But
So,
I've already been developing some ideas, so.
yeah. And, that was, really, that was my intent by,
I would rather that we have some idea where we're going, all of us.
okay. Well, we'll bring a proposal to the meeting on the 19th. I don't think we have a large agenda beyond that anyway.
Well, you haven't got enough money to buy computers anyway.
We don't have any money. We have $600.
Yeah.
700. You mean you didn't take your $100 off the top yet already? No. Okay, any other comments?
Mr.
And I
Mayor?
agree with the workshops. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Mr. Mayor? You said earlier that you'd be working on the contract for services and for office space with the district manager, bring it to a resolution. Is that in the next 2 weeks, so we'll have that to consider next meeting?
If Lawrence doesn't have too many COVID crises and snowstorms, because we were going to do that yesterday, and then the proverbial manure hit the circulating device, and we had to reschedule. So yes, that's the plan.
So is there a timeline when the city will occupy Suite 103 in the HICID building?
To be determined.
Okay, no timeline.
The answer is yes, there will be a timeline. Do we have one? No.
Okay.
However, Lawrence did start cleaning house and stuff a little bit, so.
Do you hire out?
What,
All right, it's getting late, so we're going to get back on the schedule here.
Okay.
Scheduling, regular meeting on the 19th. And I'll try to put together a schedule of workshops. Right at this point, one workshop a month may not even be enough, because we got a lot of ground to cover here pretty quickly. One of the things I haven't even put on the priority list yet, but it's going to hit us real quick, is setting up wards, because we have to have that done well in anticipation of next year's election.
We have to get to be a city of the second class first.
Well, we can be working on the wards before, at least have a plan for that. Because, we're all on 2-year terms right now, so there's going to be an election next year, and chances are we'll be a city of the second class by then.
Next year, it'd be 2022.
That is next year.
Okay.
He's living in 2020.
Living in the past.
No, we're 1 week into 21.
Yeah, so this election...
So they're going to have the census numbers before we can do anything with that, though.
Yeah, that's 6 months or down the road.
I would think that they would say that we work with the latest data that we have.
But any wards that we establish for 2022 will have to comprehend the 2020 census.
I don't know.
Not necessarily.
That's going to be pretty cut and dry.
The wards, ward boundaries can and probably are adjusted on regular basis by cities as they grow and population shifts and stuff. Right now, they're not talking about even having the census done and numbers turned in until February.
I know.
So, I don't think that the world just goes on pause until they get the census done. I would think that they would,
But if they have them available in February, why would we do something before that?
we might not. I'm not saying that we'll start working on wards next month.
Okay.
I'm saying that that's one of the things that we're gonna have to start working on this year.
And I'm just saying ideally, it would be nice to have those numbers before we worked on wards.
Okay. Any announcements?
Mr. Mayor, it's not an announcement, but I have just a quick question about emails. Are we gonna, is that gonna be part of your proposal, or?
Yeah, it will be eventually. I did find out from the lady that does the software, the accounting software for all these, most of the, 60% of the cities, that the accounting software package we're looking at, that HICID uses, is used by 60% of the cities. She knows everybody in every city practically. And she said a lot of cities, especially the smaller ones, do use Gmail.
Well, that was the question I'm asking. We established that, HI City
Yeah.
at Gmail.
I think we should start using
I
those
do too.
immediately and then determine later if we need to change.
I may need some tech support on Gmail because I set it up on my computer at home, and it is the worst email system I've ever used. I mean, I can't even figure out how to set up a contact list on it. So, I don't know if I got the Gmail for Dummies version or what.
I don't know if it has contact lists or not, so. Does?
You use a Cox, right? Is that what you're using?
Yeah.
When I sent you all that stuff, that like 99-page document, your Cox wouldn't take it. That's why I had to divide it into 2 emails. But I sent it to Lynn today, to his Gmail account, and he got it.
It just doesn't seem to be very user-friendly, or at least...
Do you use mail on your phone? Do you get your emails on your phone?
No. Yeah, I get my Cox email on my phone.
Okay. I'm confident we can add the account for the other Gmail account that you have to it.
Yeah,
It's a Google phone, right? It's an Android phone.
it's an Android phone.
It'll add on. I'll just help you with it.
Right.
And then he can do contacts with that?
I use the same contact, so I think it's incorporated because you pull it into the same mail.
Yeah, if you're using
Phone contacts.
the mail program on the phone or whatever, you can put, all 3 of mine are,
I have 3 accounts on my mail phone.
yeah.
All right, I'll be contacting tech
Okay.
support on that.
We'll do that.
After talking to Linda, I had tried to bring Gmail into my Outlook, and it wouldn't load because it said I did what you said, and it went through and did this search, and it said it was encrypted, and it would not add it to as an account.
Okay, we'll research that a little more too then.
It's probably Microsoft blocking it because you're not using a Microsoft product. We'll make it work for you.
All right. Okay, announcements?
We just did that.
No, we went back to comments.
Comments?
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ken made a motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Jerry.
Jerry?
Jerry seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good first meeting,
Gavel.
got a lot accomplished.
Mr. Mayor, the gavel.
Right.
Gavel us out.
Main thing, I gotta talk to
Oh,
Dan.
we're adjourned.
Barb Coon wants to ask